The Matrix. Now, next week we have the new Matrix movie coming out, and I'm gonna try to review all three Matrix films before the new one comes out. I may not get to it, just depending on time and stuff, because I do want to review the new Matrix when it comes out, and I will be reviewing it because I'm gonna watch it either way. But I want to talk about my thoughts on the trilogy as a whole before I talk about the fourth one. So let's kind of just kind of I've seen this movie before, and I really like The Matrix. I appreciate the movie, but I'm not in love with it in the same way other people are. But there is some brilliance to this movie. First off, this movie has a really great hook. Okay, you got this character Neo, played by of course Keanu Reeves, and he is confused. He doesn't know why the world feels wrong to him, and throughout the story, he slowly learns more. Why I'm not in love with that is a great hook, and it's a really good, like, as Neo learns more, we as an audience learn more, right? That's really great. But Neo doesn't question things enough, like at all. Like, he's got this guy Morpheus, played really great by crap, no crap, I'm forgetting his name. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. Lawrence Fishburne. I wanted to say Morgan Freeman, but I'm like, that's not Morgan Freeman. That's Lawrence Fishburne. So, but he explains things, but very vaguely, and so Keanu Reeves is like not really asking questions as well as he should, and it's I that's why I'm kind of annoyed by this movie. Also, the other thing I'm annoyed by this movie is that a lot of people praise this movie as so new and fresh and different, but and I would agree it is, but here's what you need to understand. It also isn't at the same time, right? Because a lot of this movie is old religious philosophy and stuff that we've seen in Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell. Basically, this movie is if you combine religious philosophy with the world of anime, Ghost in the Shell, which is anime too, but you get what I mean, and Blade Runner together. That is what The Matrix is. And yeah, it's really unique and different for that, but it's also like I've seen some of this before, so it's not as new and different as I think some people make it out to be. But I do really like the movie because it is a fun movie and it has a really great world to it. The special effects here, while some of them come across a bit dated, for the most part they're fantastic. And they still hold up. And the action's really cool. And I like what they do with the color palette in like the like how desaturated the real world is compared to the Matrix, and it's really neat. And also Hugo Weaving is great in this movie. Mr. Anderson, forever in my nightmares. Hugo Weaving in this movie, forever in my nightmares. Just dear God, when he puts that like bug in his chest, and in that like dream sequence, like shit, that is forever in my nightmares. Mr. Anderson, you will cooperate and help us whether you like it or not. Just like shit. But yeah, so that's kind of what I appreciate and like about The Matrix. I think it's a pretty good movie. I've never thought The Matrix was a great movie. I've always said it's a good movie. And I think that's the thing that those people like this movie disagree on, is it being great, right? But it's like there's great things about it. It's a fun movie. It's got a cool world, but it's also not as new and fresh as I think some people make it out to be. And I think it is very annoying that Neo doesn't ask more questions. In some ways that's interesting, but in some ways it isn't. I'm like, I want Neo to be a more interesting protagonist. It's like surprising, okay? Because it's like this movie and Speed that made Keanu Reeves this big movie star. But really, if you look at Neo, he really isn't an interesting character in the same way that Jesus is not an interesting protagonist. Because he's just the chosen one. And he's just, what's going to happen, and you kind of know how things are going to work out. So, I don't know. Good movie, though.